This week is the Yom Tov of Shavuos. We're going to be celebrating Chag Matan Torah, and I'd like to share with you a few magnificent ideas concerning the Chag of Shavuos. The Torah in Parshas Emor, where it gives us the mitzvah Sfiras HaOmer, tells us very clearly, says, Ad mimacharas haShabbos haShvis tisperu chamishim yom, until the day of the seventh week, you should count 50 days, Vikraftem mincha chadasha l'Hashem, and then you should bring a mincha chadasha to Hashem, a new meal offering to Hashem. What is the mincha chadasha l'Hashem? So it was the first carbon brought of the new wheat crop. The omer that was brought on Pesach was of barley, and this was the new wheat crop that was brought on the Yom Tov of Shavuos, and that's why it was called a mincha chadasha. Rashi says, "Hi ha-mincha harishona shahuva min ha-chadash." Okay, so the Kli Yakar says there's another allusion here, and what the Torah is trying to teach us. Kli Yakar from Rav Shlomo Ephraim Lunchitz in his commentary on Chumash says a unique idea why the Torah specifically called this a mincha chadasha. And he writes as follows: Siman liyom matan Torah. This is a siman, this is a sign, this is a hint to the day of matan Torah. Ki ha-Torah tzricha liyos chadasha etzel adam b'chol yom, kilu hayom kibla me'ar Sinai. Because the Torah has to be something that's new to a person, as if he received the Torah today on Har Sinai. We all know that the Torah has to be something, not an antiquated idea or an ancient document. The Torah is new. The ideas of the Torah are new for us each and every day. And now the Kli Yakar is going to tell us a very interesting idea. As you know, the Torah does not tell us what day Matan Torah happened. All the Torah tells us is that we have a Chag on the 50th day after we started counting, after we counted from Pesach. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. We have a Chag. But it doesn't tell us that it's the Chag of Matan Torah. Says the Kli Yakar. And similarly, he says, similarly, the Torah is also very, very quiet and doesn't mention to us the fact that Rosh Hashanah is the day of judgment for human beings. It's the day of judgment, the Yom Adin. Torah doesn't tell us that. Chazal have told us that. But the Torah itself doesn't tell us that, just as the Torah doesn't tell us that Shavuos, the Chag of Shavuos, is celebrating Matan Torah. B'tam shneim echadu. And they both have very similar reasons, which he's going to get to momentarily. I wrote it in my sefer of essays, of drushes that I gave called Olos Ephraim. I wrote it over there, but I'm going to tell you here the idea behind both of these concepts, Matan Torah and Rosh Hashanah. Shal Matan Torah l'Ratz Hashem l'Hagdol Yom Yadua. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want to specify a date when the Torah was given, exactly as we've just explained. Because a person each and every day has to make it and has to have it as if this is the day that he received the Torah from Har Sinai. This is the day. It's new to me today. And in fact, the Gemara in Eruvin tells us, the Torah tells us in Maseches Eruvin that the Torah is compared to the breast. What does that mean? Whenever the tinok, whenever the child is suckling from its mother's breast, it has a different taste. This is what the breast is, what nourishes the child. The milk is what gives the child his sustenance, gives him his strength. Anyone who's involved, who's osek in Torah, also is nourished, gets their sustenance from it. A tam chadash, a new taste. Al kain dinu sheyeh dome ela b'chol yom kilo hayom kiblo me'ar Sinai. It's as if I got it from Har Sinai. I mean, the analogy is perfect. What I ate yesterday was nice, but I'm eating something different today. The taste of the food I have today might not be or should not be or it doesn't have to be the same taste of the food I had yesterday. Each and every day I'm eating, I'm getting new nourishment, I'm getting new food, and that is different than yesterday and the day before. So that's what he says. Today I received the Torah from Har Sinai. Kol yom hu matan Torah. Each and every day is a different matan Torah. The Torah I received today is different than the Torah I received yesterday or the day before. Those who are involved in Torah. In al kain, therefore, ein ro'oi lahagbil yom yadua l'nesinaso. There can't be a specific date which is telling us when we got it, because we get it every day. We receive it every day. That's what the Medrash says. Rashi quotes this in Chumash in a few places. The Torah has to be new to you and not like something old and antiquated and ancient. Something that's old and outdated is something I don't want, but it has to be new. It has to be something special. You find something new, something special, something different in it each and every day. And therefore, says the Kli Yakar, that's why the Torah doesn't tell us what day the Torah was given, because it's given every day. Because today's Torah is different than yesterday's Torah. Tomorrow's Torah is going to be different than today's Torah. That's why the only remez in this word chadasha, mincha chadasha, this new mincha from, as we said, from the barley, the new barley crop, but that's a hint, that's a remez, lahoros haTorah mincha chadasha b'chol yom v'yom. The Torah is a new gift each and every day. That's the remez, says the Kli Yakar. And he goes on to say, what's the idea behind Rosh Hashanah? Why is Rosh Hashanah, the Yom HaDin aspect of Rosh Hashanah, not mentioned in the Torah? He says, V'zatam gamkein Helen Yom Dim Shel Rosh Hashanah. Ki Kedei Shelo Yelech Adam Meshuyas Libo V'Yisag El Avanas Kol Yemos Hashanah V'Yachshav L'Takin Masa V'Yosekor V'Yom Hashem Asher Bo Yeshev Al Kisei Din. A person should not say, Yom, the day of judgment, in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year. I'll worry about being a better person then. I can do what I want now because there's no judgment happening now. It's happening down the road. A person has to have it in his mind that each and every day he's sitting on the Kisei HaMishpat. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is judging us. Umizbaker bin Kaso, and he's looking at his notebook. He's looking at the ledger of what did you do today? What are you doing today? If a person says that today is different than yesterday and tomorrow, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is looking at me each and every day, I'm going to be a different person. Then Hashem's not judging me today. Yeah, it's down the road. That's when I'm getting judged. There's a Gemara in Rosh Hashanah that tells us that a person is judged each and every day. Shanamar, based on a pasuk in Eov, that Hashem looks, each morning he's looking at us. And then the Kli Yakar concludes by saying, B'chivurai haniskar and Olos Ephraim, the sefer that I mentioned earlier, Herachti based on Meiluk in Echol Motzei Das. I wrote at length about it because it's proper. Go look over there and you'll see much more about it. That's the Kli Yakar's idea about this. Rav Alpert, in his sefer on Chumash, Limudei Nisan, takes that and wants to go a step further. So here in the first paragraph, he quotes the Kli Yakar, and then he says here on line number 4, Vadayin Sarach Tavlin, but it needs a little spicing. We need to spice it up a little bit. We need to add something to what the Kli Yakar said. We do say in our davening on the Chag Shavuos that it's Man Matan Torah Seinu. So Rav Alpert asks, logically, so A, we're calling it Matan Torah Seinu, not that it was given every day. It is to be given every day, but we specifically call Shavuos Man Matan Torah Seinu. The Lama Lo Nikra Hachag Al Shem HaMaor Shel Matan Torah. Why isn't it called Chag Matan Torah Seinu, which the entire world is dependent on? The Nikra B'Shem Arai, and that it's called in this strange name B'Shem Shavuos Yom HaBikurim, and it's called Shavuos. It's called the Chag Shavuos Yom HaBikurim. And that's how it's referred to, and not as it's not Matan Torah. Ola Ryan Belibi, I had the following idea, says Rav Alpert. Shebehelam v'ikrias Hashem Achag al Shem Matan Torah. The fact that the Chag is not called anything about Matan Torah, it's called Shavuos. It's not called anything about Matan Torah. And the fact that in the Torah it doesn't mention that Chag HaShavuos is the Chag of Matan Torah, those two ideas, which are really one and the same. Ratzah Torah Lamdenu. You know what the Torah is coming to teach us? She'ikar Matan Torah krisos bris ala Torah hi Torah Shabbal Peh. Because the main Torah that we have, and the Torah that really has forged the relationship we have with the Ribono Shalom, is the Torah Shabbal Peh. It's the Torah Shabbal Peh. The Torah Shabbal Peh, Kavayachal Kol Demas Torah Shabbichsav. And here Rav Alpert says something very interesting. He says the Torah Shabbal Peh has preceded the Torah Shabbichsav. It predates it, so to speak. How does he show that? Shari b'chag Shavuos nemru aseres adibros ba'al peh. Because what happened on Chag HaShavuos? HaKadosh Baruch Hu verbally, orally gave us the Torah, the Aseres HaDibros. But kol dvarim atem shomim, v'tmuna einchem roem zulasi kol. Torah says that the kol dvarim you heard, the words you heard, but you didn't see anything. There was nothing tangible. You heard just the words. Moshe yidaber v'alakim ya'anenu b'kol. Moshe spoke. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's voice resounded. Ukedivrei Rabbi Yochanan, as the Gemara says explicitly in Gittin, based on a pasuk in Parshas Kisisa, Shadarash ala kasav ksov lechas advar ma'ela. You should write down these words. Why should you write down these words, says the Torah? Because of these dvarim, because of these words, that is how HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Kores Bris. That's how he forged this connection, this agreement, this covenant we have with him. Lo karas HaKadosh Baruch Hu Bris, ki im b'Torah sheba'al peh. He was Kores the Bris. We made this covenant through the words of the Torah Shabbal Peh. Shehu begeder v'chaye olam nata b'suchenu. That's how he put within us the chaye olam, eternal life. Ulefichach, therefore, says Rav Alpert, such a very important idea here. Zichron Chag Matan Torah ba ba'al peh. That's why the concept of Torah of Shavuos, Matan Torah, and what this Yom Tov represents has to be oral, ba'al peh, not something in writing. It can't be explicit in the Torah because the concept of Shavuos, of Matan Torah Seinu, is through Dvarim, through words, not through the written word. Because Shavuos was given Bal Peh before it was given B'chsav. And based on that, says Rav Alpert, now we understand a few things. He says, now we understand the machlokas famous machlokas between the tzedukim and the prushim, between the Sadducees and the rabbis, when the Yom Tov began. That was a fundamental machlokas between the tzedukim and the prushim. Why? Because what does the Torah say? When will we schedule the Chag HaShavuos? We begin counting from the day after Shabbos. So what the Chazal tell us? The word Shabbos there doesn't mean as it normally does, means Shabbos Kodesh, Saturday. It doesn't mean that. Chazal tell us when it says you should count from the day after Shabbos. It means Yom Tov, the day after Yom Tov, the day after the first day of Pesach. That's what it's referring to. Why doesn't the Torah write explicitly you're going to count from the 16th day of Nisan, not the day after Shabbos, the day after the 15th? Let it say explicitly the day after the 16th, or B'yom HaSheni, or the second day of Pesach. Why doesn't it say that? There has to be something that's not explicit, that's learned through the Masorah, that's learned Baal Peh, that's given us over the oral tradition, and that has to be what Shavuos represents. Ukviyas HaChag, the establishment of the date of this Chag, which celebrates Matan Torah Shebal Peh, has to be through something that's only derived through the concept of the oral tradition of Torah Shebal Peh. Ubezeh efshel hasper ksas we also have a funny wording in the psukim that we began with. You're going to count 50 days. Shemashma, what does that imply? We count 50 days. Wait a minute. Kasav Echad Omer, Kasav Acher Omer, there's another pasuk that says, Sheva Shabbosos Tamimos. Again, you have to count 7 complete weeks. Well, that's 49, not 50. Are you counting 50? Are you counting 49? The Ayin B'drashas Toras Kanim, look in the Medrash, and the Medrash explains to us, Shasofer Memtes Yom, you'll count specifically 49 days. You will count 49 days. And you anticipate the 50th day. On the 50th day, you will celebrate. You'll count 49 until you get to the 50th. But it says, Tispru Chamishim Yom. Okay? Ayin Rashi talks about it. Shapir's little Fisto, Shomikra, Shumikra Mavsuras. He says that you have to try to figure out what the psukim means. He says, no. Why doesn't it say they count 49 days? Ella, says Rav Alpert, based on this magnificent idea, Shebekavana histira haTorah. No, on purpose. Specifically, the Torah is very vague and says 50, 49. When should you count? Because the Torah is hiding Hazman Hamaduyak Shel Chag Shavuos, the specific time for Chag Shavuos, the reliance and the importance of Torah Shebal Peh, that the Yom Tov of Shavuos, which represents Torah Shebal Peh, the bris that we have with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, was and only is not something, again, that should be explicit in writing. It's not the written word, it's the oral word that defines what Shavuos is. And that, he says, brings us to another magnificent point and idea. That on Shavuos, we know we read Megillas Rus. Why do we read Megillas Rus on Shavuos? He concludes by saying, again, to teach us the importance, the relevance, the validity of Torah Shebal Peh, because the Torah tells us one of the isurim in the Torah is the intermarriage between the Jewish people and the Moabites and the Ammonites. Lo yavo Ammoni u'Moavi b'Kal Hashem, and a person from Ammon or Moab should not come into the Kal Hashem, should not marry into the Jewish people. Now, if that's the way we understand the Torah, literally, v'Torah b'Lashon Zachar ne'amar, the Torah under normal circumstances is written in Lashon Zachar, is written in a masculine. So, since that's the fact, Nichlal gam Amoni Moavis. That would include any member of Ammon and Moab, including females, including women. Ad shehaya David pasol of Obekal. Therefore, David HaMelech should be invalidated, should be puzzled to be a member of the Jewish people, and for sure he can't be the Melech, because the Torah explicitly says that someone from Ammon and Moab cannot marry in, and therefore anybody who does marry in, it's an inappropriate relationship. Oh no, but the Torah Shabbal Peh has taught us differently, that when the Torah said Lo Yavo Ammon u'Moabi b'Kal Hashem, it wasn't referring to the females. It was only the males are not allowed to intermarry, but we're allowed to accept females from Ammon and Moab. Ammoni Moavi velo Moavis. It's only a Moav, a Moavi, a male, not a female. The Nimsa through Torah Shabbal Peh. Malchus David he Eidos l'Torah Shabbal Peh. The fact that David HaMelech is the king, and that he's David Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayam, is only via the Torah Shabbal Peh, and that's why on Shavuos, which is the Yom Tov of celebrating Torah Shabbal Peh, that's what we are reading. Now we have a piece from the Binyan Shlomo. It says Shalom, it said Shlomo. The Binyan Shlomo is Rav Shlomo HaKohen of Vilna, lived in the years 1828 to 1905, and he was the Av Beis Din of Vilna. He wrote a commentary to Shas known as Cheshek Shlomo, and he wrote a Tshuvas called the Shas and Tshuvas Binyan Shlomo. In one of the Tshuvas, he is going to discuss something which has very interesting relevance to Chag HaShavuos, and a beautiful thing. He's quoting his brother here. So let's see what the Binyan Shlomo is teaching us. Binyan Shlomo writes as follows. He says, he's talking about Atzeres, Shavuos being a Mishta V'Simcha. He says, I'd like to bring a couple of ideas that I heard from my brother. His brother Betzal HaKohen Zatzal no longer was alive when this was written. The Omar, he said, Lehis Orer Lahavin Hatam Deloma Batzeres Hu Yom Shenitan Bo Haluchos Arishonos Hu Yom Mishta V'Simcha. How is it that on the day that we receive the Luchos Rishonos, Chag HaShavuos, it's a day of Mishta V'Simcha, day of celebration? Filu Rabbi Eliezer, the Gemara in Pesachim tells us there's a machlokes whether Yom Tov should be Kulo Hashem or Kulo Lachem, should it be totally devoted to service of Hashem and Tefillah and Torah, or should it be for physical celebrations, Lachem, for you to eat and drink? So even Rabbi Eliezer, who's the one who holds the sphere like the Simchas Yom Tov hu Rishus, that Simchas Yom Tov is not obligatory, but it's only optional, and really one should be devoted to spiritual pursuits on Yom Tov. B'shar HaMoadim, that's referring to Sukkot and Pesach. Mikol Makom Ba'atzeres, on Shavuos, Moda de Be'ina Nami Lachem. He says no. On Shavuos, I agree that even if I tell you that on Sukkot and Pesach, you don't need to have any type of physical enjoyment and simcha and oneg Shabbos, but simcha, on Shavuos you have to. Why? Mishum dehu yom shenitna b'Torah, because it's the day of Matan Torah. So says Rabbi Tzal HaKohen, Alma de yom shenitna b'Torah, roy lecho v'lishtos u'lismach. It's a day because we receive the Torah. It's a day of celebration. It's a day of that we need to enjoy ourselves because it's a day of Matan Torah. But then he says, wait a minute, we receive the Torah on another day. Ve'ilu b'yom HaKippurim hunami yom shenitna b'Torah. Yom Kippur is also a day of Matan Torah. The Luchos HaAchronos nitnu b'yom HaKippur, because the Luchos HaAchronos were given to us on Yom Kippur. K'de'isa b'Tainis, as the Gemara tells us in Tainis, D'lo haya yamim tovim liYisrael ketuba av Yom HaKippur, that the greatest days of celebration that the Jewish people had, as the Mishnah tells us, was Tu B'Av, and Yom Kippurim. So the Gemara there discusses what happened on Tu B'Av, and the Gemara says we understand why Yom Kippur is a good day. Tu B'Av, and then the Gemara goes on to give 6 different reasons what Tu B'Av is, but that's not relevant for us. V'Aminan Sham B'Gemara, the Gemara there in Tainus tells us, Bishlama Yom Kippurim, why is Yom Kippur a day of celebration? Mishum de'ispe slichu mechila, because it's a day of forgiveness. Yom Shenitan Baluchos Achronos. And it's the day that we receive the second Luchos, Ayin Sham. Okay? V'hula hepech min mamash metzeres. It's mamash the opposite of Shavuos. The nikva latainis v'tzom v'chapara slicha. Yom Kippur was established for tzom, for slicha, for kapara. It's a day of seriousness, of introspection, of not partying, just the opposite. The luchos were given to us twice, once on Shavuos and once on Yom Kippur. So on Shavuos, it's a day where the Torah says, Chazal tell us that we have to physically enjoy ourselves, achilu shtia. And when it comes to the luchos achronos, the luchos shnios, the second luchos, it's a day of tainus, a day of slicha and mechila. Shezeh nitan la'achila v'shtia. This day was given for eating and drinking. V'zeh nitan le'inui v'tzom l'yom kaparu slicha. A very interesting question. Why the contrast? Why the difference between Yom Kippur and Shavuos when they're both a day of Matan Torah, of receiving the luchos? Says Rav B'tz. So says the Binyan Shlomo. V'amnam hu mosiv la v'hu mefarik la. He, my brother, asked the question and he answered the question. But tuv tam badas, very succinctly and very beautifully. Al pi hamavua b'sfarim, which was said in the different svarim. The olam hazeh nivra b'schus luchos harishonos. This world was created in the merit of the luchos harishonos. Olam haba nivra b'schus luchos achronos, was created in the merit of the luchos achronos. V'omar marachi zal, my brother said, this world is finite. It has a boundary. It has an end. It is finite. The Isa b'Rosh Hashanah, as the Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah, U'b'Sanhedrin, the shishnin have alma v'chad charav, that for 6,000 years the world will exist, and 1,000 it will be charav. So you see that the world is finite. The olam hazeh omedes b'schus kabbalas luchos harishonos. What's the difference between the first luchos and the second luchos? The first luchos were also finite. They ultimately were broken. They didn't last forever. The first, the world, this world is in the schus of the Kabbalah's luchos harishonos. The hanami nish tabru v'nifsadu. They were ultimately broken and lost. Therefore, this world is also not eternal, not forever. It's finite. The olam haba, which was created for the luchos in the schus, in the merit of the luchos achronos, that's forever. Olam haba hu gam kein olam nitzchi bilti gvul v'tachlis. The olam haba is eternal. That is infinite. V'omar Od, my brother also said, now we understand the Gemara in Bava Kama. The Gemara in Bava Kama says, Isa Sham, it says over there in Bava Kama, Gemara asked, my time alone nemar kitov beluchos harishonos. The Gemara asks that if you look, there are very small, insignificant, not insignificant, but there are nuances and the differences between the first luchos and the second luchos. And one of the differences is that the word tov is in the second luchos, it's not in the first luchos. And the Gemara asks there, my time alone nemar kitov beluchos harishonos. How come the phrase kitov is not in the first luchos and it's in the second luchos? So the Gemara answers in Bava Kama, mishum de sofa l'shtaber, because they're going to be broken. So tov can't be there. Uparchinan, so the Gemara there asks, so what? So they're going to break. So what? So you don't have the word tov in it? Oh no. Amar Ravashi. Ravashi answered, Chas v'shalom paska tova miYisrael. God forbid should goodness and should tova not be part of Klal Yisrael. The concept of good, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is kulo tov, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu bestows his goodness upon Klal Yisrael eternally. And the luchos, harishonos, which were destined to be broken, would then, the message would be that tov is also finite. There's limited tov that we receive, and that can't be. The goodness that we receive has to be infinite. So the word tov can't be in the first luchos because the first luchos ultimately are going to be broken, and therefore tov can't be there. Therefore, he says, "Achein lahanal yesh lomar dekevan desofan lishtaber." Since they are ultimately going to be broken, uparchina, and since they're going to be broken, uparchinan the sofan lishtaber. Sorry, I skipped the line. Lachein gam olam hazeh omed lios kala v'nifsad. Therefore, this world is also going to be finite, is going to end somehow. That's why we can't say the word kitov when it comes to the first luchos, because tov wouldn't exist forever. And that can't be. So therefore, tov can't be in the first luchos. That's also a person's lifespan. As we explained, person's lifespan is not eternal. A person is finite because we're in olam hazeh. As the pasuk says in Mishlei, Kila olam chosen, nothing lasts forever. But in the luchos achronos, which weren't broken, there we do have the words kitov. Because olam haba, which was created in the zuchus of the luchos hashnios, the second luchos, lo nishtabru, they weren't broken, and therefore nema behem kitov. Kitov is in the second luchos. Ki ha'olam haba, the nivra bezuzam gam ken kaim l'olam, that lasts forever. The ein lo gvul v'tachlis, it's infinite. V'chein hatzadikim sheyamdu l'olam haba, and those tzadikim that will be resurrected in olam haba, as the Gemara says, ein chozrin la'afaran. They're not going back. They're not going back to the dust of the earth. K'di'isa b'Sanhedrin. Based on the pasuk, it says, "V'haya hanisha b'tzion v'anosa b'Yerushalayim kodesh yomar lo ma kodesh la'olam kayam af la'olam kayamim." Just like holiness exists forever, so this also exists forever. Okay, now we skip to the next paragraph. He says, and that is merumas, that's hinted to in the concept that the Gemara says, Ki b'ka Hashem tzur olamim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world with the letters Yud and Hey, part of his name. Ki b'ka Hashem tzur olamim. The olam hazeh nivra b'Hei, olam haba nivra b'Yud. This world was created with the letter Hey, and olam haba was with the letter Yud. What's the message here, he says? What's the remez here? He says, very interesting. He says, olam hazeh nivra b'schus luchos harishonos. As we said, the olam hazeh was created for the schus of the luchos harishonos. The meruzim b'os Hey, there's a hint in os Hey. Where is that hint? At the beginning of the Torah in Parshas Bereishis, where it says, "Vayera vayivoker Yom Hashishi," the sixth day. And what does the Gemara say? Since it says Hashishi b'Hei Hayadiah with the specific Hey, the Tanai Hisna Kadosh Baruch Hu Ma'aseh Bereishis, as Rashi quotes over there, the Gemara in Shabbos says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a condition with Ma'aseh Bereishis that if Klal Yisrael and Yisrael Mekalim es HaTorah Mutav, good. So that's the Hashishi, the sixth day of Sivan, Matan Torah. And Olam Haba was created with the letter Yud. What is the Yud? Merumas, what's the hint of the Yud? What does the Yud represent? Obvious. Nivra b'Yud, Hainu, the Nivra b'schus luchos achronos, shenitna b'asara b'tishrei, which was given on Asara b'Tishrei, on Yom Kippur, the 10th. Ki b'ka Hashem tzur olamim, the Hey is the luchos rishonos, the Hashishi, and the Yud is the Olam Haba, the Yom Kippurim, the 10th of Tishrei. And based on all this, says Rav B'Tzalel HaKohen mi Vilna, he says that's the understanding now why we eat and drink on Shavuos. Why Shavuos is a day that we physically have to enjoy ourselves. Based on this, we says, understand, hey, Tev, mad b'yom nesinas luchos harishonos nidla achil v'shtia. B'yom nesinas luchos achronos nidla tainis v'tzom. Why is there the difference between Shavuos and Yom Kippur? That on Shavuos we eat and drink, and on Yom Kippur we fast. It's very simple, and it fits in very well. B'hainu, the nesinas luchos harishonos who can get olam hazeh hashapal. The luchos harishonos represent this olam, this world, this physical world. We can't survive without eating and drinking. Ulachein mitzvah bo bayom lechov v'lishtos usmach. So therefore, when we celebrate the luchos harishonos, the Yom Tov of Shavuos, Yom Matan Torah, we have to eat and drink. We have to physically enjoy ourselves to commemorate and to show that it's the physicality of this world that we are celebrating. That's what the luchos represent. Aval yom nesinas luchos achronos, but the day that we have the luchos achronos, who keneged olam haba, that is keneged olam haba. That represents olam haba. The ainbo lo achila v'lo shtia. What is olam haba? There's no eating, there's no drinking. What happens in olam haba, as the Gemara tells us? Tzadikim yoshvin, v'atroseim v'rashayim. The tzadikim sit, they have crowns on their heads. The nanim miziv hashchina, and they are basking in the light of the Shekhinah. They are enjoying the spirituality, not the physicality, but the spirituality. Ulachein, therefore, it fits very well. Gam b'yom kippurim nitan lahem tainis b'tzom zeichel olam haba. So how do we commemorate the day of Nesinas Luchos Hashnios, which represent olam haba? What olam haba represents, with not eating, with not drinking. So therefore, that's a day of kindness. And moreover, he says, Klal Yisrael has to be Nikiyah Mikol Chepi Yom HaKippurim Dugmas Olam Haba. In Olam Haba, there's no sin. So we have to emulate and we have to act like we will be Emir Hashem in Olam Haba, Naki from Chet. Therefore, it's the day of Slicha Mechila, where we are Nikiyah Mikol Chet V'avon, where we're cleansed of all sin. So Luchos Rishonos is Olam Hazeh, it's physical. Luchos Shnios is Olam Haba, it's spiritual, and that's why on on Shavuos we eat and drink, and on Yom Kippur we refrain from eating and drinking. Olam Hazeh versus Olam Haba. And then he just says here that with the same remez in the word Anochi, the first of the Aseres Adibros, the Aleph and the Nun represent. Aleph is 1, Nun is 50, 51, and that is the Anochi Humarumas Lahayom Shalasinas Luchos Harishonos, the Nitna B'Yom Nun Aleph Sphira, the 51st day of Sphira Omer. It's a whole discussion. He quotes the Magen Avram here, where he says Moshe added another day based on the Gemara and Shabbos. We actually got the Torah on the 51st day of Sphira Omer. Not for now to go into, but that is the Aleph Nun of Anochi, and of course, the last two words of Anochi are Chaf and Yud, which stand for Kaf Yud, who Rashi Tevos Yom Kippur. That is what that represents. Anochi is the Luchos Rishonos, Aleph Nun, the 51st, and Kaf Yud is Yom Kippur, Yom Kippur for the Luchos Shnios. Kol zeh shamati mipi mar achi Agon Zatzal, and he says, I heard all this, says the Binyan Shlomo, from my late brother, B'chol Dvar of Nirali Kafta V'ferach, and it's beautiful, Be'ezras Hashem Yisbarach. And finally, the last piece I want to share with you today for Shavuos is from Rav Schwab in the Me'en Beis HaShoeva, based on the pasuk in the Parsha of the Zos HaBracha, when Moshe Rabbeinu is giving his final brachos to the Shvatim on the day of his death. We read it again on Simchas Torah, And the Torah says, Vayomar, Moshe said, Hashem Sinai ba v'zarach meseir lomo. Hashem came from Sinai. Hashem came from Har Sinai, when he came from Sinai, he had made a few stops beforehand. Zarach meseir lomo, hafia mehaparan, v'irvos kodesh, mimi noesh las lomo. He's carrying the Torah around, but he came from Seir, he came from Paran, he came to different places. And as the Medrash tells us, the famous Medrash, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu initially offered the Torah to Esav and to Yishmael, etc., and they refused, and then he came to Klal Yisrael, and Klal Yisrael said, Nasav and Nishma. That's the Medrash that everyone knows. So Rav Schwab is going to discuss this Medrash in detail and give us an absolutely magnificent and beautiful concept of what Matan Torah really is, for us to appreciate what Shavuos is actually about. So here he quotes the pasuk, Hashem Misinei ba v'zarach meseir lomo, v'afia me'aparon, etc. But Rashi, look in Rashi on that pasuk in the Zos HaBracha, v'zarach meseir shapasach levnei Esav. He went first to Bnei Esav, sheyikablu sator v'loratzu. They didn't want it. Upasach levnei Yishmael sheyikablu v'loratzu. Then went to Bnei Yishmael, the descendants of Yishmael. They didn't want it. So then he came to us, and we said, Nasav and Ishmael, we accepted the Torah. So Rav Schwab first asks the following question. Kasha. So how do we say a bracha? He chose us from all the nations, and he gave us the Torah. Wait a minute. As the Gemara tells us, the Medrash tells us, HaKadosh Baruch Hu initially took the Torah to the other nations that they should accept it. And when they refused, he came to us, and we said yes. So it's Asher Bachar Banu. We're not the first choice. On the contrary, we were the last choice. Question one, but even more fundamental. Ubesifrei, if you look in the Medrash, in the Sifrei, Kishanigla Makom Litain Torah Yisrael, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give the Torah to Klal Yisrael, Lo Yisrael Bavad Nigla Elo Kol Umos, he went to the other nations. And the Medrash tells us as follows. First, he went to the Bnei Esav. Ba'amar lahem, and he said to them, Torah, do you want the Torah? Amru lo maksuvba. Okay? You want us to accept the Torah? Give us a sneak preview. Tell us what's in the Torah. Amar lahem lo tirza. It says you can't kill. Murder's off the table. Amru lafanav. So what did the Bnei Esav answer? Sorry, not for us. Ribono Shalom, Kol Atzmo Shal Oso Abiyim Rotzeachu. Says we are Bnei Esav, and that defined our father, Esav, our ancestor, Esav. Why? Shenemar, because how is he described? V'yadayim Yedei Esav. He was a murderer. He was a killer. He went out. His hands were how he lived. Don't tell us we have to accept the Torah that says Lo Tirtzach. That's not us. Goodbye. We don't want it. So the Medrash continues. Halach lo etzel b'nei Ammon and Moab. He then went to the other nation, Ammon and Moab. Amr lahem mekabel matem as a Torah. Would you like the Torah? Amr lo. So what did the b'nei Ammon and Moab ask? Okay, show us what's in it. Give us a preview. Maksuv ba Amr lahem lo tinaf. Says can't commit adultery. You can't be an immoral people. Amr l'fanav ribono shalom. What do you mean we can't be immoral people? Who do you think we are? How do you think we got here? He says, our nation became a nation because of an incestuous relationship. Lot's daughters and Lot created us. We became, again, from an incestuous relationship. Don't tell us we have to be moral people, because that's not who we are by definition. Okay? Halach u'matzah b'nei Yishmael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu goes now to the next nation. He goes to the Bnei Yishmael. Torah. Would you like the Torah? Amrulo. So again, they ask, Maksufa, what's written in the Torah? Amalahem lo tigna. Says you can't steal. Got to be honest. Can't steal. He says, wait a minute. Our father, that's who he was. What does it say? It says, Yado bakol v'yad kolpo, his hands in everything. So we can't accept the Torah. That's not for us. Says Rav Schwab, wait a minute here. This is problematic, this medrash, because we know that it's incumbent upon all of humankind to keep the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach. And included in the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach are Lo Tirtzach, Lo Tinaf, Lo Tignov. So when he says, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings the Torah, to the B'nai Yishmael, to the B'nai Esav, to the B'nai Ammon and Moab, what's special in the Torah? So tell them, you have to keep Shabbos, you have to keep Taras HaMishpacha, you have to sit in the sukkah, you have to eat matzah. There's a plethora of mitzvos he could have told them. But he told them mitzvos that they're required to do anyway. Nothing unique about Lo Tirtzach, Lo Tinaf, and Lo Tignov. They are required to do it anyway. So when he came and he said to them, would you like these mitzvos? That's not optional. They are required to keep these mitzvos anyway. He should have given them things that are specific to the Torah, not that are universal. So that's what Rav Schwab asks here. He says, Asher l'chor yipaleh. It's amazing. Shama lehem lo tirtzach lo tinaf lo tignav shekula me'azayim mitzvos. Asher aleim hayu kvar mitzuvim v'onim. They're already commanded to do it. Ma hosif lehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'mimaso. What is HaKadosh Baruch Hu adding by giving those mitzvos? They have to do it anyway. What's going on? So Schwab says something absolutely magnificent. He says, V'hanira, shebe'emes lo ratza HaKadosh Baruch Hu litein l'umos ha'olam es haTorah shenit lo Yisrael bar Sinai. HaKadosh Baruch Hu had no intention to give the Torah to the nations of the world. When we learn that medrash, when we tell the kids the medrash that he went to all the other nations, there was no havamina. It wasn't a chance in the world that the Torah could have gone if B'nai Esav or B'nai Yishmael said yes. That's not the pshat in this medrash. What's the pshat in the medrash? Mitchilas habriya ola b'machshavto yisbarach litna livnei Yisrael. We know from the beginning of time the Torah was supposed to go to Klal Yisrael, nobody else. Don't talk to me about Esav, B'nai Yishmael. There was no intention of them getting the Torah. Okay? As we know, it says, Bereshis b'shvil haTorah shenikras Reishis Darko. The world was created for Klal Yisrael, which was Reishis Darko. B'shvil Yisrael shenikra Reishis Tvosa. They're the first crop. They're the first. Klal Yisrael is the first. But what's the difference? Ella, Shabashas Matan Torah, Ratza Litein Gam Umos Olam Bechinas Torah B'Sheva Mitzvah Shalahem. He wanted them to have these Sheva Mitzvos to be part and parcel who they are. What does that mean? Listen to this. Sharai Gam B'nei Yisrael Nitztavu B'Harmei Mitzvos Kodem Maimar Sinai. Klal Yisrael also was given numerous mitzvos before Matan Torah. Kagon, for example, Zion mitzvos, we were given the Sheva mitzvos before Matan Torah. Umila, the mitzvah of Bris Milah, Avraham Avinu was given way before. Begid Anasha, mitzvah Shedemu B'Mara, etc. Ella, what changed at Matan Torah? What was different in Matan Torah? Listen to this. Sheba Amaram Nasa the Nishma, when Klal Yisrael said Nasa v'Nishma at Har Sinai, Nishtarsha HaTorah b'Pnimius Nafsha. The Torah then did not become something external that we have to now follow. Here's your rule book. Now you follow these rules. No. It became part and parcel of who we are as a people, as a nation. Or to put it in our terms, the Torah and the mitzvos became part of our DNA. It is part of who we are within ourselves. The Torah is who we are. It's not external, it's internal. Vizehu Matan Torah. And that's what Matan Torah is. That's the Yom Tov of Shavuos. Lashon Matana. It's been a gift. It's been placed within us. Shagam b'hamitzvos shenitztavu kfar nasna lahem Hamatana Bechinas Torah. Those mitzvahs that we were given before, again, are not external rules we have to live by. They are now part and parcel who we are. B'pnimios hanefesh, within our innards, within our DNA. V'nasu am segulasa Yisbarach. And that's why we became the treasured nation, because Yisrael, v'oraisa v'kutshabricha chadu. Klal Yisrael and the Torah and the Ribbon Shalom are one. The Torah is who we are. The Torah is what we are. The Torah represents Klal Yisrael. We are Torah. We represent the Torah. That's what the Chazal are teaching us. The Gemara tells us in Brachos, Alexandria Basar the Matzle, after Alexandria used to daven, he would say the following phrase: Amar, Ribona Olam, Goli Diatula Fanenu, Sheritzonenu Lasos Ritzoncha. It is well known that our desire is to do what you want us to do, except, the Sorish of the Isa, the Yetzer Hara gets the best of me. I really want to do the right thing. That's who I am. Unfortunately, my Yetzer Hara has overpowered me. The Chazal tell us that a person who refuses to give a get, so we force him until he says, I really want to do it. And this is what the Rambam writes. Misha takfa yitzro levatal mitzvah lasos avera. A person whose Yetzer Hara gets the best of him, he wants to be mavatal a mitzvah, to do an avera. V'hukat she'asa davar shechayav lasoso. He's hit until he did what he's supposed to do, or until he refrains from doing something that he's not supposed to do. He happened to do it. A person who doesn't want to give a get, it's not that he's innately bad person. It's just that his Yetzer Hara has overtaken him so much that he can't see it. But we have to force him to do the right thing. But he really does want to do the right thing. Okay? That's the pshat in Kofen Oso Achomer Rotzani, until he really wants to do it. What does that mean, says Rav Schwab here on line 59? Shaharatzon hapnimi shakol echad miyisrael lasas ritzon avinu shashamayim. The inner desire of each and every Jew is to do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. V'zeh kibalnu b'matana b'ma'amad Har Sinai. Where did that come? That came from Har Sinai. At Matan Torah, on the Chag of Shavuos, when we stood at the foot of Har Sinai and we said Nasa v'nishma, we were saying we want to be Yisrael v'oraisa v'kutshabri v'chadu. We want the Torah to be part of our DNA. And now we understand the medrash that we started with. V'ola b'rtzonenu yisbarach, and HaKadosh b'rtzono rather. V'ola b'rtzono yisbarach litei livnei Noach zayin mitzvah shalem b'bechinas Torah betur matana b'pnimios nafsham shegam heim yikaimu b'mitzvosayim lilmod b'lamed lishmo v'lasu l'kayim. You know what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to do? On that Shavuos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu went around to the nations of the world, says Rav Schwab, and he went around to Bnei Esav, and he went around to Bnei Yishmael, and he went around to the Bnei Ammon and Moab, and he said, you have 7 rules you have to do. I want them to be who you are. I want them to be internalized. I want you to take the Sheva Mitzvos to be part of your DNA. That you should be innately desirous to do the mitzvos. Like Klal Yisrael has Taryag mitzvos, part of our DNA. He wanted the nations of the world to have the 7 mitzvos, B'nai Noach, as part of their DNA. But they refused. They said, we can't do it because that's not who we are. It's not part of our DNA. Esav can't say lo tirtzach, and Yishmael can't say lo tignov, and Ammon and Moab can say lo tinov. So they refused. These Sheva mitzvos are still incumbent upon them, but not as part of who they are, but as external laws that they're supposed to follow. And that's what he says here. Since they didn't accept it with the concept of Torah, meaning that it's part of them, Nisharu hamitzvah shachiyuve yasiya. They're just external laws they have to follow. V'gam halot sirtach v'lo tinaf v'lo tignav shalem af la'ela shemekaimosam. Even to those non-Jews, the umos olam, who keep the mitzvos, they keep the sheva mitzvos b'nei Noach. Einam poel shum hishtanas b'shorsham v'mahusam hanafshis. It doesn't make a difference in their soul and who they are because it's not part and parcel of who they are. It's not part of their DNA. Okay? They didn't want to change the concept of murder, which is part of who they are. They're Esav's descendants. So they can't change who they are with the arayas. And when it comes to Yishmael with stealing, and they are empty when it comes to what Torah is. Okay? We'll skip down here to line 90, where he says, V'yesh lahosif shezeha inyan. This is such a beautiful idea he's concluding with. He says, that's what we teach the ubar. That's what we teach the fetus in its mother's womb. As you know, the Gemara says in Nida that the malach learns with the child when the child is in its mother's womb. So Rav Schwab says, I have a kasha. He says, Masha Omer Belel Pesach, B'shir Echad Miyodea. Echad Miyodea, we sing the song at the end of the Seder. We sing Echad Miyodea. We get to number 9, we say Tisha Miyodea. Who knows 9? And what's 9? Tisha Yarche Leda. 9 months of pregnancy. Asher Atmima Muvasemes. The kasha is obvious. Hare Kol Hamalo Shel HaMisparim HaAmurim B'Ashir Emi Yuchedes L'Kal Yisrael. When it comes to all the things in Echad Miyodea, they are unique to Klal Yisrael. Echad Elokeinu Shabashamayim V'Aretz, Shnei Luchos Abris, Shlosha Avos, Arba Imahos, Chamisha Chumshei Torah, Shisha Sidrei Mishnah, Shiva Yemei Shabbata, the 8 and Shmona Yemei Mila. Those are all unique only to Klal Yisrael. Comes to Tisha Yarche Leda, the 9 months of pregnancy, that's a universal thing. What's it doing in Echad Miyodea? Oh, there's a difference between the gestation of a Jewish child and a non-Jewish child. He says, Asher atmiya mefrusemes, hare kol hamalo shalom mispar ma'amrim b'shir hei miyuchedes l'chai Yisrael. Ve'olama b'tisha amar davar shayach v'chol hamina anushi. Why in 9 does it say something that has to do with all of humankind? V'yesh lomer shakavanas hamishor al ma shalomdim imar ibor kol haTorah b'tisha yarche leda. Because when a Jewish child is in its mother's womb, it's learning the Torah. And just as it's physically growing within its mother, it's spiritually going as well. Because the Torah of a Jewish child is part and parcel who they are. It's part of their makeup. It's part of their DNA. It's part of who they are. And therefore, the Tisha Yarche Leda of a Jew is different than the Tisha Yarche Leda of the rest of the world. And that is what Matan Torah was. And that's what happened on Shavuos. V'zerak b'Yisrael kadei lahashrish haTorah b'pnimios nafsho. The Torah is part and parcel of his inner soul. V'vchinas v'torascha b'toch me'ai. The Torah is within the womb. And that is what we said on Nasa v'Nishma, that the Torah should be who we are. And that's what we accepted on Shavuos. So now we understand that the Yom Tov of Shavuos is the Yom Tov of Torah Sheba'al Peh. It's not alluded to in the Torah because of Torah Sheba'al Peh, because that is what we actually received on Shavuos. We've talked about the difference between the Luchos Rishonos and the Luchos Shnios and Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. And what we said with Nasa v'Nishma was that our souls, our DNA should be different because we said Nasa v'Nishma and accepted the Torah. Chag Sameach.